What do you think? Do you think we look good there? Hey guys, it's Holly and I'm here with my amazing, beautiful, talented, incredible husband. Yay!
That's a lot of pressure. Hi, how are you guys?
So a lot of you guys have seen our wedding video and you were really touched by it and you wanted to know a little bit more about the story behind how we met and how we fell in love. So I managed to convince Ben to join us today. I'm so excited. And we're going to tell you a little bit about the peculiar story of how we met.
Alright, so where should we start? 2011?
2011 is the year that we became aware of each other's existence. Unless you knew about me before then and you didn't tell me.
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Okay. So I was working in radio as a midday on-air host at a Spanish pop, I think you could call it pop, a Spanish pop radio station.
At that time I was working at an ad agency and I didn't have a TV. Well, I did have a TV, but I didn't watch it that much. So my boss was like, you have to start listening at least to radio because you like music, so why don't you listen to your radio spots and see what the competition is doing and whatnot. So I started like listening to a radio station. I asked my brother for a cool, Spanish station that I could listen to. He told me about Éxitos, where Holly used to work at, and so on my way to work I would check her out and I would switch to other stations. Well, there were songs that I didn't like, but anyhow.
So you didn't love the music that we played?
No. And this is the thing though, like my favorite radio show was exactly at the same time. Morning Becomes Eclectic. KCRW.
So why would you listen to me
because
ever?
I wanted to like listen to my radio spots and I will switch during the songs, but then I will catch you when you were talking because I was like, I like her voice and I wish she would be playing the music that I am listening to on this other radio station. Anyhow.
Wow, that's really interesting. So his first impression of me was my voice.
Actually, this is something that you don't know, but I called KCRW and I told them about a really great voice.
What?
From another radio station. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I tried to get you a case without knowing you. That's how much I wanted to hear your voice.
But I mean, I don't understand, like a really great voice. What good is a good voice without a personality behind it?
Well, obviously, I mean, voice, personality.
You liked my personality?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so on this particular day, Ben's driving to work. And he hears me announce that I'm giving out tickets, right? Why don't you tell us from your perspective?
Alright, so I am driving and to my surprise, they're giving away tickets to a band that I really, really like. They're called Jarabe de Palo and they're a band from Spain and I listened to them since I was maybe like 13, 14 years old.
Nice.
And yeah, there's a long story with them. But anyhow, so I was like super excited. I'm like, yes, tickets. I need to get him, So I called Holly, like asking her if she can throw me a bone because I really wanted the tickets. I'm like, maybe she has an extra pair. But no, she was like, well, you kind of like have to call, and if you are caller number 9.
In the right moment, which I had already announced on air, right? So it was going to be with the Shakira song. But the guy on the other line, I remember the phone call, and I was like, he seems really nice. So I gave him a little bit of a heads up, and I was like, okay, so the Shakira song is coming right after a Ricky Martin song, so just be ready. So as soon as the first strum of the Shakira song comes on, I clean the lines and I start taking callers, and we had to give tickets away with caller number 9. And then we would put like a challenge for the winners because in life it's not just about having luck, it's about knowing how to take advantage of your luck. So I told him just be ready for anything and hopefully you can call at the right time if you call right after the Ricky Martin song ends. And that's pretty much all I told you, right?
Right. I am waiting for those songs maybe 30-40 minutes later. I arrived to work and I start listening to the station through my computer. So obviously there's a delay on the stream, and so I was thinking, well, it doesn't matter, because they're gonna call before me and then they're gonna get tickets. So
did you have us on speed dial?
Yeah, I already had
nice.
it. Yeah. So anyhow, I hear the song and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna try it. And so I call, and I am listening, and all of a sudden, it just rings one time, and I hear Holly.
Éxitos!
I'm like, hey, how you doing? I am calling for the tickets for Jarabe de Palo.
Well, guess what? You're caller number 9. Woo! And he really was. I obviously didn't recognize his voice. What were you thinking?
Well, I was sure that she was gonna be like, sorry, dude, but yeah, someone already got him. You're kind of late. No, he definitely worked. It
was beautiful how right on time he was. At this point, I did not recognize his voice. And I said, the next thing you have to do to take those tickets home is sing a song for me. Obviously a Jarabe de Palo song. I wanted to make sure to filter out real hardcore fans to go see this group because I didn't want like some Randolph to win the tickets. And my favorite part is that whoever this guy was on the other side of the phone sang a full verse and the chorus. And I was just like, whoa. Like most people just learn the chorus of the song, but he sang, I mean, he would have kept singing if I didn't stop him.
No.
No? Okay. But
No,
it was really cute. It was really cute.
No, I had to stop, but yeah, it was a little awkward because obviously I get to work and I have office mates, and so there's like 5 people around me and I'm like on the phone.
I never really thought about the awkward situations I would put people in. So he finishes singing and it was so cute and I'm like, congratulations, the tickets are yours. What's your name? And that's when he goes, I'm Benjamin, your Facebook friend. And I said, que conquistador, Benjamin. Like, how would you say that in English?
So charming? No.
What a charmer, Benjamin. Little did I know that he would charm his way into my heart. Over a year later, okay? So just so you know, it definitely didn't happen quickly, but everything in due time and at the right time, I think everything happened. Mm-hmm. He did get that audio, but lost it, and we were gonna play it at our wedding. It would have been a really special moment, but clearly I'm not over it yet. I'm so sad. It would have been so cool.
Yeah.
When did you pick up the tickets? Maybe like a couple weeks later?
Like a week later.
Okay. And so he was my friend on Facebook, as we mentioned earlier, but I was really friends with anyone and their mother because obviously I would just announce my page on the air. Not, I'm just saying, you were just, you know,
yeah,
another dude. And so he did write me and say, hey, I'm going to be coming to pick up my tickets next Tuesday or whatever. And I said, okay, cool, let me know. Obviously he was wanting to say hi to me, and anybody that would write me and say that, I would make my best effort to come out of the studio, say hi, get some pictures, come back, you know, keep working. So that happened. He let me know that he was arriving, and I went out to the lobby. And we were both wearing black and gray stripes. He was wearing a black and gray striped shirt, and I was wearing a black and gray striped dress. That was really interesting. Did you notice that immediately, or?
No, not really.
I think there was just a lot going on, right?
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous, to be honest. I was waiting for her to come out for like 5-10 minutes, and I don't know, like when I saw her coming out, she was walking really fast.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you came out like and you were like, hi, and I was like,
so harsh.
English, Spanish, you know, the whole beso or handshake.
Oh yeah, what did we do?
Like, well, first you gave me a really strong handshake that I was not expecting, and then she pulled me into a Mexican kiss, you know?
Best of both worlds.
And a hug like this.
Oh yeah? Whoa, really?
Yeah. And so,
nice.
yeah, that was super sweet. Obviously, we chatted for a little bit. She needed to go back on air, and
I suggested taking some pictures, which Ben says he wouldn't have asked for, but I'm really glad. Aw, I'm really glad that we got them. And I remember the lighting was weird because we were going in front of like a lighted poster and it wasn't working. And so we took about 3 pictures and posted them immediately after. But yeah, at that time, I just remember thinking, wow, this guy seems like a really cool guy, and I was very intrigued. But I don't know, there was a lot going on in life. I was in the worst relationship of my life, but I was just like overwhelmed with everything. And he was like, do you think you can come to the concert? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, and
I'm
I was
like,
with
okay.
someone at that time as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it was really just kind of like, cool, great, thank you, whatever. And that was it.
Yeah, yep. So we fast forward.
Yeah, so that was July of 2011. Let's fast forward to May of 2012. You go ahead, because you initiated it.
So I was gonna play a gig at a really cool hotel in downtown. So I invited as many people as possible, but I really wanted to connect with Holly because...
You're not explaining, what do you mean play a gig? What are you, like Prince?
I am Prince.
He's also a DJ.
No.
And so he was spinning at the rooftop. Really, really cool party. Okay.
Well, yeah, my friend invited me to play at that venue, and I was super excited. It was just kind of funny though, because after a year she was still with someone and I was still with someone. But I just really wanted to connect with her because since we met, I felt a very, very strong connection with her. So I kind of wanted to know more about her, and you know, just, I don't know, I just felt like she was an amazing person, and you know, it wasn't, I was attracted to her in so many ways, you know, not only in like a physical...
no, it wasn't, yeah, like neither of us were thinking about that at all. I agree.
So anyhow,
yeah.
Funny thing, she was even on like the VIP list where she was supposed to just go in, don't pay anything, don't wait in line, anything like that, you know. I just had 2 of those, but she was, I mean, security just didn't let her in, didn't go through, so...
It just wasn't meant to be. Like, I can't imagine now, knowing how our story turned out, if we had seen each other that day, it just would have been really weird, and it just wasn't the right moment. So I really tried, because you know, on my end, I was feeling like, wow, he seems like such a cool guy. Not many people that listened to me on the radio, and that being my first contact with them, would I have responded to an invite like that. But with him, I was just like, he seems really cool, I want to go. But anyway, it didn't work out. I just texted him like, it's not gonna happen, and he was just like, let us make it up to you guys, and I was just like, I didn't even bother. I didn't even bother writing back. I was so over it. Fast forward to August, right?
Wow, yes.
Yeah, fast forward to August. Basically, each of us on our own have been going through some really rough times. I was actually very happy to finally be single, and I was like, August is my month. I'm just gonna have fun and go out and, you know, hang out with friends. And I had bought, I think, 6 tickets to an Armin van Buuren concert. I was so excited. Armin's gonna be in town, and I told a bunch of friends, and everyone wanted me to buy the tickets, and then they were gonna give me cash the day of. Well, I ended up having 1 extra ticket. I posted it on my Facebook page where I had 5,000 friends, because I'm like, I need someone to buy this. I just need someone to give me my $80 back. That was where I was at.
So that morning, I decided that I really wanted to go out. Kind of like my status in my relationship was still complicated. I just wanted to get out. I was just not feeling good, and I wanted to feel like I was taking advantage of my life and of my time, and I needed to have some fun. And so I remember waking up that morning just saying, you know, I'm ready for fun and to go out and enjoy myself. So anyhow, I get to work, open Facebook. First thing I see, it's Holly's post selling a ticket to see Armin van Buuren, and I'm like, this is a sign. I'm a big fan of Armin, and I've seen him quite a few times, and it was just perfect. And so I was like, well, maybe she already sold the ticket, we'll see, you know. And I just sent her a Facebook message, and maybe like 10 minutes later I received a response saying, hey, yeah, I still have the ticket. And I'm like, wow.
And the funny thing is, like, I didn't really have Ben on my mind. I remembered him. I would randomly see comments that, you know, he would post in arguments that would happen under Facebook posts that I would write. And I'd be like, oh, Ben, he always has something coherent to say. I really always appreciated that he spelled everything correctly and had really well thought out answers to people that were writing just crazy things to me sometimes. But I had kind of forgotten about him. And I see that he's asking about this ticket, and I'm like, you know what? He'll show up with the money for sure. He's legit. That was pretty much my criteria at that point. It was for that actual night, right?
Yeah.
It was a Thursday. It was Thursday, August 30th.
For sure, yeah.
And so we're like, cool, great, awesome. Here's my number if you need to text me, whatever, done.
I arrived a little bit earlier, and I'm sitting there just waiting for Holly, and I see her walking by with her, with our friend now, with Yesenia.
You saw me walk by? Was I close to you?
Kind of. You were, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, I just felt weird to be like, hey, Holly! I walked towards her, and she just seemed a little distracted.
I was.
Not super interested either. And and I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, good. And I'm like, oh, you know, so I just like grabbed the money and I'm like, here. She's like, oh, okay. She's like texting and she grabs the money and gives it to Yesenia, and then she gets the ticket.
Yesenia's like my girl. She's got all the money. She's like counting it up.
And so she just goes back to her phone, and I'm like, well,
wow.
Bye later. Thank you.
The craziest thing about that whole scenario is if you knew what was going on in my mind at the time, it has nothing to do with what he just described and the way that he perceived it. I hadn't seen him since July of 2011, so it had been over a year. And again, I am now single, so I see the world through different eyes. And he walks up to me, and I was just like, whoa, who's this hottie? And it's not like, I don't know, I'd never really thought about guys in that way, but it was just a chemistry thing, I guess. I don't know, I was just like, whoa. Hey. So I guess I froze a little bit and acted weird and acted distracted, but I was distracted by how gorgeous you were.
I didn't feel it that way. I felt like I was completely ignored.
But I'm telling you now. So yeah, he walks in. I was really sad because the Palladium is huge. And I actually looked up the numbers online. The capacity is 3,700. So I was like, well, that's that. You know, he's going to be lost in a sea of people. Luckily, we walked in and he was right there at the bar that was right at the door. I'm like, yes! Were you happy to see me too, or was it just me?
No, I was definitely happy, but I didn't know what to expect either. I was like, oh, here they come. Maybe they're gonna think like I was waiting or something.
Oh, because you definitely weren't.
Well, I was waiting in line for a drink.
There were other bars you could have gone to.
That was the only one open because that was the first bar.
Okay, so he definitely wasn't waiting for us, but lo and behold, we walked in. He asks us if we want drinks, and we say yes. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna enjoy my night. And Jess's friend Osvaldo was like, do you guys want VIP bracelets? I'm like, sure. And so then I tell Ben, I'm like, hey, do you want to go with us and get a VIP bracelet? And he was kind of like, he didn't seem that excited about the idea. He was like, well, okay.
That's the thing though, since the beginning I felt like, I don't know.
The sixth wheel, or what would you be, like the seventh wheel?
I don't know, I mean, obviously I was buying the ticket, not a date with Holly, you know? So I didn't wanted her to feel like I was gonna be, what's the word, like clingy? Or
yeah.
like, you know, just thinking that I was gonna be hanging out with them, you know? I knew that she was with her friends and she was gonna have a good time and I was just gonna do my own thing.
And we are so similar in that way that I understood him completely. Like, neither of us like to overstep our boundary. Neither of us like to overextend our welcome. And so he was being very respectful. And I noticed that. I picked up on it immediately. And that's why I was like, do you want to come with us? And he said, sure. And then he said, well, you know, I don't want you to think that you guys have to hang out with me or anything. I'm totally fine. And I said, no, I mean, I don't want you to think that you have to hang out with us. But if you want to, you're welcome to. And that was like a huge step for me. It was huge.
That was, yeah, that definitely made me feel like, okay, well, she really wants to hang out with me. So we went to the VIP area.
Oh, it was so VIP.
And so we had a great time. I mean, it was like more private, I guess. But the party was downstairs. And at some point we just joined the party and I don't know, it was just, it was a very, very magical moment because it was such an unexpected night, or the whole day was just so magical. Like, I can't even remember it in slow motion. I could hear the music and the people dancing and all the lights and just being with Holly and just dancing and having a great time. Just good times.
And trying really, really, really hard to like not be too close to each other.
Right.
I remember that. I was like, I gotta stay like a little bit further away, but we were both like frozen but trying to dance. Because there were so many people in that place, it would have been so easy to be like, ah. But we were both kind of like, it really was magical for me too. It was crazy. It was, like you said, so unexpected.
So like at the end of the night, we went to like the patio area because the music was super loud and we couldn't talk. We were just dancing and we got tired. And we just stood there talking for like at least an hour.
I just remember talking with you and getting lost in the conversation and feeling like I never wanted the night to end.
But it actually ended. And
Believe it or not.
Really, really quick. Because when we, realized everybody was gone, maybe sleeping at home, because we saw the people sweeping the floor, all the confetti, lights were on.
Yeah, I was like, wait, how much time has passed? Like, how long have we been talking?
Yeah.
I remember Yesenia and Rodrigo and Sarai and everybody
I don't even remember
left
saying
hours
goodbye.
before. Oh, yeah. And Yesenia, before she left, she goes, I like Benjamin. I was like, whoa. I've never heard her say that about anyone. So yeah, I mean, everyone left, and honestly, I still wanted to keep talking with you, but it was time to leave. We were finally getting kicked out of the club.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I convinced him to still come to my car and listen to more Armin van Buuren music. How does that even happen?
Yeah, we ended up, I walked her to her car and she's like, do you want to listen to some more music? I'm like, sure, why not? So we talked for another hour and a half. I think I made it home by like 6 in the morning.
Goodness, and we both had to work the next day. And I have to point out, this wonderful shirt that Ben is wearing.
Oh yeah.
Is from that night night at the Palladium.
Yes, it is.
I love that you wore it. That's such a cute detail. The next day was really rough for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to work on time was not a thing that either of us were able to accomplish.
Right.
Unfortunately for me, the entire city of LA found out.
10:45 in the morning, I haven't heard Holly, and all of a sudden I hear your friend JC Cuevas coming in. And
You're like, whoa, they had to call him in.
Yeah.
I had a really rough morning, let's just put it that way. But I could not get Ben off my mind. I was like, was last night real? That was so crazy. And I was kind of like nervous to text him because it had been so magical. I didn't want to mess with it, you know what I mean?
Right the next day.
The next day was a Friday.
Okay, yeah, so it wasn't Friday, it was Saturday.
Yeah, so Friday went by. We may
Right,
have texted a little bit and said, was that real? That was awesome. What a great night.
Right.
Pretty much, that's it.
Yeah.
And later on, we found out that Ben's phone ate up messages, but maybe we'll talk about that later. Okay, so Saturday, what inspired you?
Well, I couldn't get her out of my mind, and I was in Little Tokyo walking by, and I saw something that I thought that she would really like. I don't know, I just saw it and made me think about her, so I bought it for her.
It was a triangular ring, and it was hot pink with gold. And I thought it was really, really interesting that it matched the necklace that I had worn the night of Armin. He says he doesn't really remember that, but I'm sure that you had that in mind because the necklace was black triangles with gold. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you were very observant and I really noticed that. But anyway, we haven't even explained how you got the gift to me.
Subconscious.
Yeah.
So yeah, I brought that with a little note and chocolate.
Ferrero Rocher. I don't know how to pronounce that. Is it like French or something? Anyway. So yeah, he shows up at work, and I worked Monday through Saturday, so I'm on air, and Saturdays were just my day where I didn't bother showering or doing my makeup or anything. Luckily, it's radio. And so I'm there, and I get a call from the security guard, and he's like, someone brought you something. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I try to bring it up to her.
That would have been nice.
I lied to the security guard. Because I was like, yeah, I won tickets, so can I just go upstairs and pick him up? And he's like, sorry, but I don't think so. And I'm like, oh yeah, for reals. Just call. He's like, no, we just don't give tickets on Saturdays.
The offices are not open on Saturdays. They never tell anyone to come in on Saturdays. And Ben was like, I actually just kind of wanted to give this to the girl that's on air right now, but okay, bye. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when I go down and see this, I'm like, wait, does that mean Ben was here? Like, why didn't he tell me? But it was really, really sweet and so thoughtful. And I loved the note. It was the shortest note, but it was so powerful. It said, gracias por la sonrisa imborrable. Mm-hmm. Which means, thank you for the unerasable smile. And I was just like, oh, this is so great. Oh my goodness. And I felt the same way. It didn't matter that I hadn't slept. It didn't matter that my life was utter chaos. I just couldn't stop smiling. I immediately called and was like, this is so sweet. Thank you so much. Can I see you? Are you in the area? And we met up really, really quickly. Ben got lost. Let's just leave it at that. He got there super late. He had been running because he parked like a mile away.
Yep.
And he shows up sweaty and late, and I'm halfway through my meal, and it was just like, oh, hi. And we were both super greasy because, again, Saturdays, I didn't try. I was just so nervous to see you.
No, I was super nervous. I remember just getting there as fast as I could, and I don't know, I just saw her there and I'm like all sweaty and I'm like, oh my god.
You didn't think about how I looked like I had just crawled out from under a rock?
Well, she's beautiful,
No,
as you can notice.
no.
She didn't need anything like that.
It's so sweet. And he looked super young. He had like a little cap on, and I'm like, how old is this guy, by the way? I didn't even ask. Yeah, you had your little cap on. So that was a fun day. We didn't get to hang out too much, but I remember that when we walked each other to our cars, we gave each other a hug, and hugging Ben, it just feels like you're home, you know? That's how I felt. And I promise it was accidental. We hugged, and then I gave him a little kiss. A little kiss on the neck, and I was like, what did I just do? Like, I just met this guy 3 days ago, well, also a year ago, but what is going on? And so I just kind of walked back into my car, and I was like, bye. And I'm like, what have I done? And I'm driving out of there, and I get a little text from Ben. I'll never forget that text. My heart jumped. And again, I don't know exactly how to say this in English, but it said, Me gustas así como que mucho.
I like you.
It's like, I like you like a lot.
Like a lot, yeah.
Really cute, really cute. And I was just like screenshotting it, saving it, putting it next to my heart. I was like, ah! Actually, the next day, it felt like years had gone by, and I was like, I miss him so much. And I was going to not Rancho Cucamonga, the other place that's way the heck out there. What is it? On the 10, you just keep going east. San Bernardino? Further. Okay, so I was going to hang out with my friend Nellie, and Ben was like, no, I texted you that day. And I was like, hey, I can't stop thinking about you. Mm-hmm. And then you said, that's so weird, because right now I was contemplating whether I should text you or not. Because again, both of us are very reserved in some way as far as not wanting to bother someone that doesn't want to hear from us. Even though I think it was pretty clear for both sides that we wanted to hear from each other. Mm-hmm. We decided that we would do our best to see each other that night. Coincidentally, he was going to be in Burbank again. So yeah, I was just like, look, I'll let you know when I'm close to Burbank. I knew it was going to be really late though, because again, I was basically halfway to Palm Springs. Mm-hmm. By the time I'm done with my friend Nellie, it's like 9 p.m. I'm like, hey, can you look for a restaurant in the area? I knew that we could have fun in the car. But
that sounded kind of...
Okay, no. The point is like, we don't have to be anywhere. No. None of the weird fun in the car that you guys could imagine. We literally had only talked. And you just made it so awkward.
Well, you're like, not like we cannot have fun in the car.
I mean, that's how you know.
People will go there, come on.
Okay, well, don't go there. So all we could find, because Sundays in the USA, was this crazy, I don't know if they deserve that adjective.
No, it wasn't crazy. It was just weird. Random. It was like a random coffee spot.
60s or 70s diner?
Yeah.
With not that much flair.
Yeah, exactly. Not a lot.
It just seemed old. That's pretty much all. And so we say hi, we hug, and then we go in, and neither of us really needed any food. So we're just sitting there and catching up. Oh yeah, because it had been a full 24 hours since we had seen each other. And I remember he put his sweater on my legs because it was kind of cold in there, and I was wearing like this cute little jumpsuit. And it was adorable. Mm-hmm.
Super adorable.
And the waitress comes up and she's like, can I get you guys anything?
Not right now.
Yeah, we're just like, no, And so she goes away, she circles back in like 15 minutes. Ben was like, out of courtesy, how about a tea? And I'm like, oh, me too. So we sipped on hot tea. And I remember you were telling me about all these crazy ideas you had for making an art gallery, and I don't even know what all else, but it was just really special. I was just like, why am I so excited to be drinking tea with this guy? Like, what is going on? At that point, I definitely knew that I was feeling things that I had never felt before. But again, both of us, for me, it wasn't that complicated. I had gotten out of a breakup and I was so done. For him, he was like, I did not want to think about being with anyone. Like, I just want to breathe and chill and whatever. And so one day maybe a few weeks later, he was like, you know what? I think that I just need some space. And I was like, oh, what could it possibly mean? But of course I respected it. It was the first time in my life anybody had asked me for something like that. But I respected you so much, and I was just like, if that's what he needs, I have to give that to him. But I did. What are you laughing about?
Well, because you're like, well, yeah, I respect you so much, so I just made plans with another dude.
What do you mean? That's like the most respectful thing I could do.
No. No.
You wanted some space, and I'm like, I need to respectfully distract myself.
All right, well, you don't want to hang out with me. I'm gonna go to Six Flags with this guy.
Yeah, well, okay. First and foremost, this is the most important part of the story. I posted a beautiful love song on my Facebook, and I knew if it was meant to be, he would find it, and he did. And it's actually a song from a guy to a girl. I don't really know the details of the song, but I remembered a few phrases from it that I was like, I feel that way. And it was basically like, I will be here, even if I can't see you, I'll be here for you, waiting. I guess I was still waiting, technically.
Waiting in the roller coaster.
Yeah, a girl's gotta have fun.
And yeah.
So yeah, I mean, my friend wanted to hang out with me. Like, he literally happened to call that day. It wasn't even like I was like, let me call up some boys. It wasn't like that. But he's like, hey, I've been thinking we should go to Six Flags. And I'm like, let's do it. And funny thing is, I honestly didn't know when Ben asked for space if he was going to need 3 weeks, 2 months, or 5 days. It ended up being
24 hours, come on.
About 24 hours. And he was like, I miss you. I was at Runyon Canyon and I had my phone with me and I was going to put it on airplane mode. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you know what? No, because I need to listen to iTunes, and iTunes needed, for some reason, why do you have to connect to the satellite? It doesn't even make sense. But anyway, so I had to turn it on. I wanted to turn it off because I didn't want to be thinking about whether you were going to call me, because I didn't think you would. And then you did, and it was so beautiful. Girls, if he asks for time, give him all of the time and all of the space. But actually that night at Six Flags, I immediately called Ben when the night was over and was like, I miss you. Can I see you? And he was like, okay. So it still worked out great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're so cute. Basically, no matter how hard we were trying to stay away from each other and be individuals and live our own lives, it was inevitable. We always ended up calling and texting each other. And as I was mentioning before, it's crazy that we got over the hump of Ben's phone eating up the text messages, and we only found out about this months down the road.
Right.
Months.
Yeah. So I kind of remember these because, okay, so Holly, so Holly's like, hey, do you want to meet? Was it you or was it me? I just don't.
I feel like it was your idea. You wanted to meet up, and we were going to meet at Lala's on Melrose.
Yeah, something happened at work and I thought I wasn't going to be able to make it. So I text Holly and I'm like, hey, I don't think I will be able to make it.
But it was like a really long text, right? It was like, this happened and then that happened and then this happened, so I don't think I can go. So he sent me that and he thought everything was squared away. Well, meanwhile, I'm sitting there parked outside of Lala's on Melrose waiting for him to call me or text me because it was already, 3:30 or whenever we said we would meet. And maybe...
You were already there? No.
Yes, I was there. Like, it was already, because whenever you texted that, I don't know, it was probably before the time that we said, right?
Okay. Oh,
then 3:30 rolls around, I get there, I park, and I'm waiting for you to call. Mm-hmm. And then at around 3:40, I get a text from him saying, you know what? maybe I will go. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, when were you not gonna come? So then I call him and I'm like, what are you talking about? And that's when he's like, well, I said I wouldn't be able to make it, but you know what, I can just do that later. And I'm like, when did you say you wouldn't be able to make what? And so when he arrived, we compared our phones side by side, and every single time that he would write me a long text message, I would not get it. So just imagine all of the times that he was pouring out his heart, and I wouldn't see it. And so I wouldn't respond because I thought that the last thing that I said blocked off the conversation, and he never wrote back. Meanwhile, he's writing a book that I never received. And both of us, again, have a lot of pride. And it's amazing that we got over that.
Yeah, it's just funny because, you put yourself out there with this long message and then there's no response, so you just feel like, oh, did I go too far?
Absolutely.
Did I say too much?
And for me, it was happening too, because I would be like, I can't stop thinking about you, whatever. And then I would get no response. And I'd be like, oh, that was too much. Oh, and then you just go to bed feeling like, I just should have stopped while I was ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both of us were feeling that way. So it was very relieving to find out and compare and be like, oh, you wrote me all that and then you never got a response. So that was a really fun moment.
Yeah.
We could go on for hours, but this is pretty much the story of how our lives coincided, how our paths crossed. Thank you guys so much for being here, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the story. Thank you so much for recording this video 2 times.
Thank you for listening, guys, and thank you for following Holly. I love her so much, and you make it really easy to make her happy and help me make her happy. So just keep watching her and keep commenting, because she loves watching all the comments.
I love it. It's so fun.
We're both like laughing, and
I'll bug him all the time and be like, oh, look at this, you gotta hear this comment. So yeah, we do enjoy that, and thank you for putting up with me with all of my crazy YouTube-ness.
I love it.
Thank you guys for joining us. Talk to you later. We hung out again, and it was amazing. And every time we hung out was amazing.